The morning feels wrong. Not because of the cold. Not because of the guards. Because today, men are leaving. A truck waits near the gate. Engine running. Metal rattling softly. Diesel smoke hangs in the air. Boots crunch over frozen dirt. A guard unfolds a paper. Names begin. Schulz. A man steps forward, no hesitation. Becker. Another one, eyes wide, almost smiling. Each name means the same thing. Home. After years behind wire, home. Then the guard pauses. Eric Weber. Silence. The other prisoners turn. Eric doesn't move. The guard looks up. Weber steps forward. Eric shakes his head. Slowly. I can't go. The words are barely a whisper. The line goes still. A prisoner refuses to leave a POW camp. The guard walks closer. You're being released. The war is over. Eric's hands tremble. I know. Then why won't you go? Eric looks past the gate. At the road. At the world outside. His face drains of color. Because what he knows, what he fears, is something no one else in that camp understands. And for years afterward, the reason he refused to go home was quietly buried. Why would a man choose a prison over freedom? Spring 1945. Germany is collapsing. Cities are in ruins. Railways shattered. Government gone. Millions are displaced. And across Europe and North America, hundreds of thousands of German soldiers sit behind barbed wire. Prisoners of war. Most camps are quiet now. The fighting is over. The tension has changed. No longer fear of battle. Now uncertainty. Where will they go? What will they return to? In Canada, the United States, and Britain, camps begin processing releases. Paperwork, medical checks, transport lists. But information is slow. Rumors spread faster than official news. Some say returning soldiers are being arrested. Others whisper about missing families. Destroyed towns. No homes left. Inside the camps, another tension grows. Not everyone is eager to leave. Some men receive letters. Some receive nothing. Some names are called. Others are skipped. And sometimes, a prisoner disappears from the transfer list entirely. No explanation. In Eric Weber's camp, small things begin to feel strange. A clerk removes his file one afternoon. A guard asks unusual questions. And one night, Eric receives a message. Not official. Not signed. Just one sentence. Going back may not be safe. Who sent it? And what did they know? Eric Weber is 27 years old. Before the war, he worked as a railway mechanic. Quiet. Precise. Not political. He was drafted in 1942. Captured in 1944. Since then, he has followed every rule. No trouble. No complaints. In the camp, he repairs tools, fixes heaters, helps guards when equipment breaks. Other prisoners trust him. But Eric keeps distance. He avoids conversations about home. When letters arrive for others, he walks away. Because Eric hasn't received a single letter. Not one. His hometown, Dresden. In February 1945, the city burned. Thousands dead. No one knows what survived. One evening, a fellow prisoner asks him, "Who are you going back to?" Eric doesn't answer. Instead, he asks something strange. "Do you know what happens to men who worked on railways?" The prisoner shrugs. But Eric doesn't look relieved. Because during the war, railways didn't just carry soldiers. And Eric knows what trains really transported. Is that why someone warned him? Or was there something else in his past? Weeks before release, small things change. A guard checks Eric's name twice. A medical officer asks about his work history. Another day, Eric sees his file open on a desk. Stamped red ink. He isn't told what it means. Then during roll call, a name is called. A man steps forward. The next morning, he's gone. No transfer truck. No explanation. Just an empty bunk. Prisoners whisper. Some men are being held back. But why? One night, Eric finds the note under his mattress. Going back may not be safe. No signature. No handwriting he recognizes. The next day, his name appears on the release list. And suddenly, he doesn't want to leave. Because if someone inside the system warned him, then someone else is watching. And maybe they're waiting for him outside the gate. Release day. Men pack their few belongings. Some laugh. Some cry. Eric doesn't move. The truck arrives. Names are called. When his turn comes, he refuses. The guards are confused. At first, they think he's afraid of transport. But Eric speaks clearly. If I leave, I won't come back alive. The camp officer questions him privately. Are you being threatened? Eric hesitates. Then he says something strange. Some men are being sent home. Yes, but they're not arriving. The officer dismisses it as rumor. But Eric isn't guessing. He knows someone from his unit who was released months earlier. No letters. No record. No trace. Then Eric says something else. If my railway records still exist, someone will be looking for me. The officer pauses. Because after the war, investigators are searching for railway personnel. Not all trains carried troops. Some carried prisoners. Some carried civilians. Some carried people who never returned. Was Eric involved? Or did he witness something dangerous? Either way, the officer makes a decision. Eric Weber will remain in camp. Temporarily. And his file is marked for review. But days later, that file disappears. Camp administration requests his records. Nothing arrives. Military archives show incomplete data. Railway employment file missing. Unit records partially destroyed. Interrogation notes removed. A clerk writes a report. Documentation unavailable. Another officer writes a second note. Subject expresses fear of repatriation without specific evidence. Meanwhile, Eric is questioned again. He refuses to give details. Only one sentence. I did what I was told, but others didn't survive. Authorities consider two options. Keep him indefinitely, or force repatriation. Then a new message arrives from Europe. A list of wanted personnel. Certain railway workers. Certain transport units. Eric's former station appears on the list. But his name is not there. Which raises a question. Was he cleared? Or erased? And who removed his file? Over the years, historians uncovered fragments. But the full story was never confirmed. Several theories emerged. Railway workers were investigated for deportation logistics. But Eric's name never appeared on official lists. Was he innocent or deliberately removed? Some believe Eric reported illegal transport orders late in the war. If true, returning home could expose him to retaliation. But no testimony was ever found. Dresden was destroyed. No family records survived. Returning meant starvation, homelessness, or Soviet occupation. Did he choose prison because it was safer than the ruins? One archived memo suggests Eric assisted Allied investigators inside the camp. If true, his identity may have been protected. But the memo ends abruptly. Final line. File transferred restricted. Transferred where? No one knows. Which theory is true? Or was the truth something even simpler and more tragic? Eric Weber remained in the camp for almost 2 more years. Long after most prisoners were gone, he worked as a mechanic, then as a civilian employee. Eventually, he emigrated to Canada. New name, new life, no public record of his past, no investigation, no charges, no recognition, and no explanation. Years later, a former camp clerk was interviewed. He remembered Eric. He remembered the missing file. And one strange detail. The day Eric refused to leave, a second envelope arrived from Europe, marked confidential. The clerk never saw what was inside. But after that day, all references to Eric's railway service were removed. So the mystery remains. Did he refuse to go home out of fear, out of guilt, or because someone powerful decided he should never return? And now we ask you, why would a man choose a prison over freedom? Tell us your theory in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Because some war stories didn't end in 1945. Some of them are still unfinished.